Hello. So I'm going to do this quick tutorial on how to do these adorable little gnome kits. So if you've purchased one of these, you had the choice between the one with the handle and the one without, and the get your vet pants ready, and the let's get lit. Okay, so I'm going to show you just a quick tutorial on how to do it. I'm starting with just the one without the handle. My stencil is a little bit different. It just says Merry Christmas, but you get the gist of it. All right, so I'm going to move my camera and we'll get going. Okay, so in your kits, you'll be getting red or green paint, white paint for your stenciling, clear coat to seal your project when you're done, and you'll also be getting a brush and a foamy little foam wedge for your stenciling. Okay, so the color of the green is Fancy Farm Girl by DIY Paint, and that is what I'm going to be using here for the base. So pretty simple. I like to do my edges first. I just find it easier to get that done and out of the way. The paint's super thick. If you haven't used it before, you get really good coverage. You don't need a lot. And you will see working it with water helps it stretch even further. Okay, so I'm going to do the back first, and I just kind of eyeballed my cutting board to see which side I would like as the front. Look for the side that you like the best. And to help that, just going to give it a little squirt of water, and it just moves a lot better. Make sure there's no runs. I'm just going to dry this and flip it over to the other side. All right, quick blast with a heat gun, and it's all dry. I'm just going to flip over and get this other side painted. Another little mist of water to help that move. You get a lot more coverage. If you're not familiar with DIY paint, you can water it down 50-50 before you start losing pigment. So that's a lot of squirts with the water bottle. All right, trusty heat gun again, and then we'll be ready to seal this. Just finishing up with the heat gun. Make sure it's really dry. I'll just close this up. So now you'll see it's all dry. These cutting boards I think were oiled, so I've washed them all really good, but you still might end up with a little bit of bleed through. So when you're at this stage, keep your eye on the side that has the least amount of bleed through. It's not a big deal. It kind of just adds more character, especially to something like this. If you want to avoid that altogether, you can prime it and seal it. But for for a piece of furniture, I would for sure prime it. But for something like this, you're just going to want to work with it. So I'm not going to use this side because you can see, I think this is bleed through coming through here. And there's a couple cracks that I don't want to work with. So I'm going to use this side. Okay, so now because I want it to be a little bit distressed, all I'm going to do is take a wet wipe. You can use just a regular wet cloth and just wipe those edges. Depending on how thick you put your paint is how many wipes you're going to have to give before you're going to see that your paint is going to start coming off. See how you can see the wood peeking through? And that's all I'm going for. I just want a little bit of the wood to peek through. Just gives it a little bit of character. So this is on the side that I'm going to be applying my stencil. So there we go. A little bit of dry again. It doesn't take very long to dry. You can see it changing color. It gets that chalky light color when it's dry. Perfect. And now you have a little pot of Big Top. There will be a label on the top that says Big Top Clear Coat. And same thing. Gonna go with the edges first. This is not thick like the paint. I got bristles that are wanting to attach themselves. It's not as thick as the paint. Just be careful you don't get any big, you don't want any big runs. So another bristle. That one's right in there. Just gonna kind of pick it out. There we go. And again, I always do the back first. Okay. When you're using a heat gun or a blow dryer on Big Top, don't just hold it in one spot like that. It's different than the paint. It will bubble and burn, and you don't want that to happen. The paint will do it too, but the paint is a little more forgiving. So I like to just keep it moving. And you can see as it dries that it lightens up a little bit too, but you do maintain some depth of color here. Right. You don't have to use a blow dryer or a heat gun when you're doing your project. You can just let it dry naturally. That doesn't take very long either. 10-15 minutes tops usually. Okay, so this is the front where I'm going to be putting the stencil. So I don't really want any. I'm just going to give that a little mist because it dries so fast and I want to get it a little bit smoother. Make sure there's no runs. I just go around with my hand and wipe them off. There's just no getting away from the bristles. Oops. I'm just going to use this X-Acto knife to try to grab that bristle. There we go. All right, so this is really warm now, so I'm going to let it cool for a little bit. I'm going to go wash my brush out because I'm going to need it again. And you don't want to leave Big Top in your brush to dry. It'll finish your brush off. It'll be done. Okay, we're ready to apply our stencil. So these are one-time use stencils. And the first thing you're going to want to do is the paper on the back with the grid lines on it, that's what you're going to want to peel off. And I always start to peel it off on a corner and work diagonally. And what I've found the easiest way to do is to lay it flat on the table and grab this grid backing and pull it slowly. And you want all the blue to stay down. You don't want it to follow. You don't want any blue on this. You want that blue to stay. All right, perfect. So then, this is sticky. This is the part you're going to want to stick down on your board. Now just kind of eyeball it. You want it to be kind of centered. Try not to get any wrinkles. There we go. So once you've got it all smoothed down like that, then I just go over it and really push around the design, around the, like you can see the words through here. And I'm just going to really push and make sure that that stencil is going to be adhered to the block. Okay, so then again, I just start peeling back the backing, the transfer backing, to leave the blue vinyl on the block. And same method, I'm just going to pull it slowly on a diagonal. So as long as you go slow and you keep your eye on it, same thing, you don't want any of the blue vinyl to stay with this white backing paper. You want it to stay on the block. Perfect. And there we go. Okay, so it's all attached. And now we get to paint, we get to stencil. And I use this was the backing paper from the stencil. It works perfectly to do your stenciling. So same thing, you guys will each get a little thing of white paint to just take out a little bit, and I just put it on there. And these are just little foam makeup sponges, little wedges, but they work perfect for this. So what we're going to do is we're going to dab. I like to use this end, dab it in the paint, and then dab the paint off. And then dab it on your stencil. And just up and down. Don't be smearing it, rubbing it side to side. You don't want to do any of that. And less is more. You can always go back in thin spots where you feel like you want it to be a little more opaque. But if you put too much paint on, try to put too much all at once, you could get some bleed through under your stencil, and then you don't get those nice crisp lines that you want. Okay. Close that up. So once you've got your coverage all over, then same thing again. You're just going to peel this off. You don't have to wait for it to dry, though it's probably pretty dry. This paint dries very fast. And don't worry about it tearing right now. You're just kind of pulling it off. And you're also going to notice that you might get some little bits of paint on there, but that's okay. If you're doing a piece of furniture or something that you wanted it to be absolutely perfect, ideally you would want to wait. I'd wait for the paint to cure a little bit than doing it as fast as we're doing it here. Then I just take an X-Acto knife, just the point of an X-Acto knife, because you will see, like in the center of the E, that little piece is still there, and there's some little pieces kind of still stuck. And all I'm going to do is just kind of pick them up with the X-Acto knife. There it is. So that's all stenciled, and the little stencil bits have all been pulled off. And now what we're going to do is clear coat it. So I'm going to move this out of the way. So you're going to grab your clear coat again. And the trick to doing it this time is you do not want to smear. You don't want to smear your white paint. And if you overbrush with your clear coat, you will reactivate your white. You'll smear it all over the place, and that is not going to make you happy. So all you do, get your clear on your brush and do swipe over. You can go once and back, but don't keep brushing. I know it's instinct to want to brush over it to make it perfect, but you don't want to do that. So if you look, you can see that it's kind of heavy in some spots, and it's just not perfect, but it is covering the white. So now we're going to dry that. We're going to let that dry, and then we'll do the final clear coat. Okay, so I took the heat gun to it again, and I dried that quick swipe coat. And now I'm going to go and I'm going to put a complete clear coat over the whole piece. And you can brush a little bit more with this one. You've got that buffer layer now, so you won't smear. That is the most important part to when you're stenciling with DIY paint or any kind of chalk paint that will reactivate. I'm just going around again, making sure there's no runs. And we're going to dry this. All right, so that's it. Super easy little project that you can do at home with the kiddos. $21.95, comes with everything that you need. Comes with your board, of course. It comes with the white paint for the stenciling. It comes with either the red or the green, your choice. It comes with your clear coat. It comes with a brush, and it comes with a little foam wedge to do your stenciling. You get the choice between the two boards. the regular rectangular board and one with a handle, and the two stencils, the Get Your Fat Pants Ready and the Let's Get Lit. The Let's Get Lit is written on the top and the bottom. On the bottom, sorry. Like this one. This is the one that you will be getting with the kit, not this one off to the side. I thought it looked a little bit better. It fit this board better if it was this way. And it also fits perfectly on the green one too. So you just put it upright instead of, you go portrait instead of landscape. So that's it. You get all the goodies, everything you need to make the little kit. We can also ship these nationwide, so if you're looking for shipping, I think they're $8 to ship these anywhere. I think it's a flat rate. So let me know if you want a kit, and I'll put the link in the comments. All right, guys, thanks. Thanks for watching.